everyone, welcome to the fresh videocast episode of My Emotions Matter vlog. And given this period of social distancing, thanks to the platform Zoom, we'll be having a virtual interview with Mr. Ayush Pant today. He is the co-founder of the Revolution Project. The Revolution Project is a social enterprise which is based on the concept of environmental sustainability, and they help other organizations do their CSR, corporate social responsibility programs, in a way which is environmental friendly and sustainable. Other than that, the Revolution Project also has a venture called La Straw Nepal, where they produce metal and bamboo straws and they supply it to restaurants all around Nepal. So, welcome to the episode, Ayush Dai.
Thank you so much, Mahima. It's wonderful to be a part of any of My Emotions Matter work. Thank you so much for having me.
So, the specific reason why we have him today is because tomorrow is Earth Day, and whenever we talk about such things, the one thing that strikes us is the Revolution Project. Specifically, we think about them because they do not only preach about environmental sustainability, but in our experience of how we have seen them, they also practice it. So, we shared a co working space with them earlier, and during that time, one thing that we really noticed was they always took that initiative for environmental sustainability. Like, for instance, they took an initiative where they had made our office space completely plastic free, and they did not want us to bring any sorts of plastic in the office. So we can see that they do not only preach or sell products related or services related to environmental sustainability, but they also practice it. So, Ayush Tai, how was the journey of the Revolution Project? Like, how did you make sure that all of your team members value environmental sustainability so much? Did you already hire team members who had this value in them, or did you instill it in them after they were hired? How did you manage this?
So talking about Revolution Project and how it started, for the question that if everyone was sustainable or not when we started this, the reason we started this was because we wanted to fight this pollution and sustainable challenge that companies have. And this happened because we were in school, we were back school भन्दा नि college bachelor's गरिरहेको थियौँ अनि 2015-16 को टाइममा चाहिँ I'm sure you're aware यो climate change global warming को कुरा एकदम धेरै आउन थाल्यो हैन 2012 देखि भइरहेको थियो तर 15-16 मा with the internet everything everyone started knowing about this. So that is the time when we were very much aware about this thing as well. So we were about 3 to 4 friends and we were very much worried about this. So the only thing that held us together back then was sustainability. So when we started, it was not someone who's good in investment, someone who's good in marketing. It's not that team coming together, but it's actually people who care for the planet who want to work together. So that's how we started it. And it's still the same actually. When you ask a question like when we hire someone or if we add people in our company, should they be environmentally friendly before or can we instill that later on them? And it's great if they're already practicing things like that before, because Revolution Project, it's more of we like to personalize and it's very transparent. So it's the situation matter. We work with a lot of public, we have different campaigns or a lot of people can come in. So this is a situation might say I think it makes sense if the ones who join the company are already environmentally sustainable. Campaigns we're doing, let's say, we're planting trees, we're refusing plastics, and personally, our life, if we are found using that, then it does not make sense neither. So it's better if that person is at least into environmental sustainability. Does not mean that person should be driving electric cars and everything, but then at least should have a mindset that they want to change and make it better.
Exactly. So that's really interesting. My key takeaway from your answer is that one thing that brings your team together itself is the fact that you all are very, very concerned about climate change, and you all wanted to do something
Yeah,
in your life to make the environment and to make the world a better place to live and to make our environment
yeah,
very healthy and very green. So that was the reason why you all came together. And even now, when you hire new team members, you make sure that there is a certain inclination towards environmental sustainability in that member already, because that is very, very important. And when you're already inclined to that value, it becomes easier to bond with the team. in an environment
Continue,
where
continue.
you value environmental sustainability so much, like when you see that other people are not doing the same, other people are not that concerned about the environment, it is very likely that it can ignite feelings of anger and frustration within oneself. So how do you manage to deal with such emotions?
Yeah, this is something I went through initially. I know when I started off, I used to see early not sustainable things happening, and I used to be like, why is that person doing that? But when I think about that right now, we were in the same position before, Nita. We were not before we started the company. We were doing the same thing, and there's a reason behind a person does a certain thing. So yeah, it's पहिला चाहिँ yes, I admit that we used to be angry. We used to be like, why is that person doing that? Why is that company doing that? But when you really think about it, I think right now it's the empathy that we've developed in our team, which helps us, keep ourselves in their position and think, especially in a developing nation like Nepal, because in our country त्यो balanced छैन हैन. So there are a lot of poor people out there. हाम्रो यो middle lower income level को ग्रुपको मान्छेहरू एकदम धेरै हुनुहुन्छ. So when a person has different issues in life हैन, यो struggle भइरहेको बेलामा environmental sustainability को सोच्नु कुरा चाहिँ it's not a first priority for them नि त. So if I'm struggling with, let's say, I'm an average Nepali, नेपालमा average income GDP is around 10,000 to 12,000 rupees per month. So this is a situation if I'm living, I have my own expenses, I have to pay my rent, I have to look after my or food and everything. And this belama, I'm definitely going to eat noodles and think about sustainability because right now I'm going to think about my survival. I know. So when I'm thinking about my survival, I'm not going to think about plastic pollution that's happening all over the world because of packaged food. So that is one thing that we've developed inside the team where we make sure SLM Revolution Project Banda, we help companies become socially as well as environmentally sustainable. I say that because when we talk about sustainability, let's talk about a country. And ekdamai sustainable countries bhaneko countries like Norway, Sweden, your Scandinavian nations, right? And the reason they achieved sustainability was because they first focused on social progress. Okay? So that being said, when people जब मान्छेहरूको आफ्नो बेसिक निड चाहिँ फुलफिल भइसक्छ नि त्यसपछि बल्ल मान्छेले आफ्नो वर्ल्ड आफ्नो सराउन्डिङ्सको बारेमा सोध्छ नि त राइट सो नेपाल जस्तो ठाउँमा चाहिँ we are going to see a lot of people not following your sustainability guidelines and everything, but then if हामी त्यो एङ्गरलाई नै लिएर अगाडि बढ्यो भने चाहिँ it's not going to work. So for us it's empathy, realizing the fact that people are going through a lot of things, so sustainable is not a priority for them. So त्यस्तो कुराहरू चाहिँ we think of that, and we also focus on social aspects so that मान्छेले त्यो social aspectsहरू फुलफिल हुँदै गइसकेपछि sustainability focus भन्दा. So no, we don't really think of anger, and you don't feel the anger or frustration at all. We did, but then we learned through this your experience there. And yeah, so yes, we do feel anger. We are humans. We do get frustrated, but then we calm down and we're like, okay, people are going through their own thing, so you have to understand that one. Yeah.
Okay, so my key takeaway from your answer here is that empathy helps in situations like this. You try to empathize with the people who are not that focused on environmental sustainability. You try to step into their shoes and you understand that right now, at this point of time, even their basic need has not been fulfilled. So, for us to expect that they'll have a concern towards environmental sustainability is something which is not practical for them to think about. So, putting yourself in their shoes and trying to empathize with them helps you deal with emotions like anger and frustration when you see others not following environmental sustainability as wholeheartedly as you do, which is a great thing to know. And
Yep.
what are some steps that you follow in your organization to make sure that people do not only like preach the concept of sustainability, but they live it? So they live the concept of sustainability. What steps do you ensure so that that happens?
So when you say not just follow it, live it, it actually starts by following it. I know. So Suruma, we follow something, then once we do it for a longer period of time, it becomes a culture and we start living that. So I don't have like these certain steps that you should do, Banera, but then all I can say is we have to start small. So just the afne organization ma pani, Like you said, we don't bring in plastic bags and everything, because externally we work with companies into reducing that, so it does not make sense for us to use that inside our company, and also for the sake of the environment. So this the case man saying हामीले अफिसमा अनि again one thing is majority of our time of the entire day is spent in office generally होइन so हाम्रो way of life is actually shaped into what we do inside our work. So plastic bag is one example. And another thing, I mean, office man, when we're sustainable, we don't use things like this. Let's say, I mean, we go out with friends, restaurant ma gyo hare. Restaurant ma बस्दाखेरि generally there are plastic straws. So if we are following these things at office, then we refuse for the plastic straw as well. So I mean, the plastic straw when use garden. So I mean that builds the way of life. So it's small things that you do, but you have to be consistent and you follow it every single day before you actually live that culture and that way of life, I guess.
So, what I take from your answer is that once you become an ardent follower of something, like once you follow something for a very long period of time, you start living it automatically. And it's the small steps that you take so that people can live with the concept of sustainability. Something as simple as
Yeah.
refusing a plastic straw or refusing to use plastic bags completely. Something as simple as that is something that you do to make sure that environmental sustainability is ensured. So, when it is very easy to say practice what you preach, but when you see that some of your competitors might not be following what they are saying, so doesn't like that instill feelings like anger, frustration, and demotivation within you? And how do you deal with emotions like that?
Oh, that's a good one. So yeah, it's always easier said than done. I believe in that. So we say that we do this, we do that. Double गर्नुपर्छ त्यो बेलामा it's really hard to do it. When it comes to our competitors or any other organization who are working in a similar way, so there's a difference. Practice what you preach भनेको the practice को process to start गर्नु पर्यो नि त. But then not following भनेको not doing anything at all. So it actually does not entice us to follow the same. We are actually the thing that really drives us is all the bad things that's happening, and if we don't do it, I think we just want to make a small impact. We don't even see ourselves making a huge impact. Hopefully we will, but then we just want to start small. So practicing what you preach, man, say one thing as a team, man, yes, we do practice what we preach, but we also realize the fact that it's not always going to work. So let's say we have a strategy or we do some things in environmental aspect man, so I mean follow or some we're practicing, we plan this, we preach this, I know we're following this practice corridor, but then we realize the fact that it's not always going to work. So that's one acceptance we have. And yeah,
Yeah, so when you
in
see that
regards
other
to
companies might not be doing the same, like they might be talking about environmental sustainability, but they might not be sustainable themselves. So when you look at them, it's very natural
Mhm.
to have emotions like frustration, temptation, disappointment, demotivation. These emotions are very natural when that happens. So how do you deal with
Yeah.
emotions like that?
So okay, so yeah, I'd say these things are that's actually out of our control नि त हैन. So एउटा कुनै company, if we are working together, then we are related, so हाम्रो पनि input हुन्छ त्यसमा हैन. But then if it's a completely another company we are not working with, or another company not doing certain things, that's completely out of our पहिला चाहिँ. But then it's definitely um, frustrating to see that, but then we cannot do really anything about it, then actually raise a voice or tell them to not to do that. But then it's completely up to them. Since it's a free market, people can do whatever they want. There's not, it's run by different mechanisms, I know. So free market boy, but see, a person has the power to do anything, whether the company is creating a lot of plastic pollution, the company still has the right to do it. So in such situations, we just cannot tell them to not to do it. We can tell them to not to do it, but that does not mean they're going to do it, because they don't have to do it. So in such situations, it's frustrating. But another thing we cannot do, we feel helpless actually, खासै के गर्न सकिँदैन. But then यही कुरा चाहिँ अर्को एस्पेक्टमा चाहिँ, while practicing what we preach, let's say we are working with a company होइन, अनि त्यस्तो बेलामा पनि sometimes when we're working, things might not work as we thought it would. So त्यस्तो बेलामा पनि frustration, anger build हुन्छ होइन. So let's say एउटा क्याम्पेन गरिरहेको छौँ एउटा कम्पनीसँग, but then the plan गरे अनुसार त हुँदैन होइन कति कुराहरू. I'm sure you guys are aware of that as well. So that's how it works in the market. So this is Belama Pani. Sometimes we're in the field. It's been 10 days, 11 days in the field. Things are not working. We're really frustrated. We're really angry. It's just a situation we come back to office. I'll be very specific about this. One thing that helps us is we don't say a word. We just take deep breaths. I know it's not working. The team knows it's not working sometimes. I mean, you know you have to work harder and plan more for that. So we don't get frustrated anymore. We just sit there. We take deep breaths. We turn on music. We dance. We forget everything for a while, and we come down to a conclusion that we're just humans right now. So let's not let's not be a lot frustrated, because there are different aspects that coming in that's not making things right. It's not just because we're not good enough, while I could add it. So we sit down, we just we're right there sitting with each other, realizing we're just humans, coming down to that level, and just thinking, it's okay, it's fine, we can work on this, but then let's not work in accordance to our frustration, because I'm a frustration go way ma kaam garyo bhane I don't think we'll have the right input or impact on that. So yeah, that's why we do it.
So, meaning what I take from your answer is that it does, like, it's something that is beyond your control. What others do or what other companies do is something beyond your control. So, you cannot really do or say anything about that. So, you do not try to take control of what is beyond you. Ani, the second thing is that even when you're working on campaigns that are related to environmental sustainability, and when the outcome does not come out as you had thought it would, like when the outcome is not as per planned, you just use the power of acceptance. You just accept that sometimes things will not work out, and that acceptance helps you
Yeah.
move on and work in a productive manner in the future. You make sure that you analyze why are things not working out, but then you also accept it. You do not dwell on your failures.
Yes. Yeah.
So, while it is very easy to say that the individual employee goals should be aligned with the organizational goals, it might not actually always be possible to do that. So, how can organizations make sure that their individual employees' goals can be aligned with the organizational goals? Like, can you elaborate on that?
Okay. This is, I think, one of the most challenging things for a lot of people, right now. We hear a lot of people, they're not happy with their job. Sorry, we always waiting for the weekend, and you're like, I want to get out of this job. And कहिले बेलुका होला जस्तो हुन्छ वाला हुन्छ नि. I think that question is the answer for that. हुन्छ नि आफ्नो पर्सनल गोल र अर्गनाइजेसनल गोल, त्यो अल्टिमेट गोल चाहिँ म्याच नभएको भएर नै हो त्यो. सो आई थिङ्क यसमा चाहिँ दुईवटा कुरा लिङ्क छ जस्तो लाग्छ होइन. वान, इट्स द म्याक्रो लेभल र माइक्रो लेभल भनेर. सो फर इफ आई वर्क इन एन अर्गनाइजेसन, आई निड टु मेक स्योर मेरो पर्सनल करियर एस्पेक्टमा मैले के सोचेको छु होइन. फर इक्जाम्पल, I have thought that I would want to work into environmental sustainability, specifically tree plantation. मलाई एकदम interest छ अरे. That's where I see myself working in, होइन, त्यो aspectमा, making this world greener वाला aspectमा, that's where I see myself working with. So let's say I join an organization, let's say you join us. So when they join us, that should align first, होइन. So त्यो कम्पनीले चाहिँ उसलाई त्यो एभेन्युजहरू दिनु पर्यो जहाँ उसले आफूले सोचेको कुराहरू अचिभ गर्न सक्छ. So let's say Revolution Project does plant trees with a lot of companies. Right? So that could be an avenue for the person coming in who wants to work in the similar field, who gets that. अनि आफूले त्यही एस्पेक्टको काम गर्न पायो भने one personal goal is fulfilled there. होइन. So that's a macro balance, the main balance that needs to be there. मलाई जे काम गर्न मन छ त्यो चाहिँ मैले अर्गनाइजेसनबाट पाएको हुनु पर्यो. Maximum level, like 80-90% of the work that I should get it. That's macro level. But when you talk about personal goals or individual goals, it could also be about living a healthy lifestyle for that person. It would also be about being fit. It could be having a proper friend circle or social circle which makes them happier, or the way of life ramro and so on. So again, when I said again, a person spends most of its day inside an office, त्यो कुराहरू त्यही अफिस टाइमले नै म्याटर गर्ने हो नि त. So if a person is okay, individual goal धेरैको healthy हुने हुन्छ होइन. So the organization should create a mechanism where people start eating healthy. So bring your own lunch हुन सक्छ. Or there could be a kitchen where healthy food मात्रै पकाउने होइन. So discouraging not to eat the packaged foods or बाहिर त्यो खाजा खाने ठाउँमा चिल्लोहरू नखाने. That's one aspect that comes in. Second thing, fit हुने हो भने there could be a monthly hiking thing that the organization team can go on. अनि यो कुराहरू कसरी थाहा पाउन मिल्छ भने इट्स अलवेज थ्रु कम्युनिकेसन होइन सो since it's my emotions matter, I'm sure you guys always talk about reflecting and self reflection, the reflection sessions, and that's something we practice at Revolution Project as well. So there will be days, weekends, ma, or certain day, we stay for around 15, 20 minutes or half an hour and just talk about life. So I need to camp we'll talk about what's happening on the network, after team we start knowing about what a person wants individually, individual goals sound. So so कोसीमा गयो कफी खायो अनि गफ गर्यो देन अ पर्सन सेज हुन्छ नि आई वान्ट टु बी फिटर मलाई यस्तो गोल छ त्यो हुन थाल्छ त्यसपछि कम्बाइन्डली एभ्री स्टार्ट्स नोइङ टिमको हुन्छ नि त्यो जेनरली सबको गोल्स के हो भनेर अनि त्यसपछि वी क्यान प्लान अन थिङ्स हुन्छ नि सो इफ अ लट अफ टिम मेम्बर्स लुक अन टु बिकम हेल्दी एन्ड इट्स देयर पर्सनल गोल अर्गनाइजेसनभित्र किचन हुनु पऱ्यो जहाँ हुन्छ नि हेल्दी खानेकुरा खान मिल्यो or could be a culture where they bring their own food अनि monthly hike हुन सक्छ which promotes fitness friend circle को लागि frequent reflection sessions frequent social sessions coffee sessions होइन so त्यो भयो भने त्यो मान्छेको as an employee or हुन्छ नि the one who's working there will also have all different goals fulfilled आफ्नो initial goal to fulfill भइरहेछ but then healthy पनि भइरहेछ fit पनि भइरहेछ social life पनि भइरहेछ and these are general things that people want right? So the organization में 10 to 5 के time में त्यो मान्छेले पाइरहेछ भने that person does not need to separate another 5 to 8 to actually fulfill those other things. So and I think that would actually align it pretty well. Your culture बिस्तारै ल्याउन सक्यो भने again it's not going to happen overnight with time but त्यो mindset को साथ चाहिँ काम गर्यो भने चाहिँ I think that would balance things out.
So my key takeaway from your answer is
Yeah.
that there are two kinds of goals that you'll have to see. One is the future aspirations of the person, like where does the person see himself or herself working, and you need to make sure that that future aspiration is exactly what you can provide in your organization. So in the hiring process itself, you need to make sure like के हो त त्यो मान्छेको फ्युचर एस्पिरेसन्स त्यो हेरेर अनि आफ्नो ठाउँमा त्यो मान्छेलाई कसरी त्यो फ्युचर एस्पिरेसन्सहरू अलाइन गरिदिन मिल्छ भनेर you have to take care of that. And regarding individual goals, maybe
Yeah.
having reflective sessions regularly in the organizations, like reflecting regularly in the organizations helps the team leaders know what their employees goals are, and once the employees goals are known, you can create an environment where the individual employee gets a chance to fulfill their goals, and once an employee starts getting that, their satisfaction level is automatically going to increase.
Yeah. Yep.
So since tomorrow we have Earth Day, is there anything that you would like to tell our audience before we end this episode? Like, is there anything that you'd like to tell to our audience, given that you have that, you work in the sector of environmental sustainability and you do have a little bit of expertise in that area? What is something that you'd like to tell our audience?
I again say start small. The reason sustainability भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ we're not achieving कति कम्पनीजहरू कति कन्ट्रिजहरू वर्क गरिरहेछ but then it's just getting worse होइन it's because we always look at the bigger picture okay? We see यति धेरै pollution छ यस्तो धेरै climate change भइरहेछ there's no way we're going to solve this भन्ने हुन्छ होइन so when it's so overwhelming that you're like you give up you're like मैले एक्लै गरेर के हुन्छ र भनेर but then the only answer is it has to start from an individual there's no prospect that health is going to come from another planet and save us and it has to be ourselves when you think about it climate change or pollution your environmental sustainability reach known the good reason say it's because the way companies are operating it so you're a company a lot of companies combinedly operating in a certain way is causing pollution right so bottle a lot of plastic pollution or bottle selection because there is a company producing a lot of it you know? Because why because the public there is a certain level of people who demand for it so हाम्रो डिमान्डले गर्दाखेरि नै certain कुरा भइरहेको होइन so we have the choice to stop that demand and I don't say again to completely leave everything I never mean to say that but then start small if you've been using frequent plastic bags if you use it a lot of times get yourself a reusable bag and not use that avoid plastic straws I know if it's your birthday you can plant trees cut a cake but then also plant trees just one tree or just add tree in your backyard or आफ्नो ठाउँ छैन भने public spacesहरूमा add गरिराख्ने 3 months मा हैन, just be consistent with that. So and work on waste management. These are very basic things we already know about, you know. So Earth Day ma individual actions एकदम important छ. Pollution gas, one thing that's really important is waste management. So segregate your waste every single day, because until and unless we are consistent, we're not going to make it. Plant trees every 3 months. Encourage your friends to do the same. When you do something for the environment, don't hesitate to share it on social media, because you never know what one post can inspire. It can inspire a lot of people. So just do what you know, because we actually know Subbit has a game. Like, well, all we need to do is start small. Don't be overwhelmed that there's so much going on, but just do one thing at a time, at a day, and just continue doing it to be consistent.
So my key takeaway from your
Yeah,
answer
that's it
is that
actually.
people need to start taking small steps. Like usually when we talk about things like climate change or environmental pollution, there's a lot of data and there's a lot of like hard data that can eat our minds up. Like we can feel very overwhelmed and
Yeah,
very intimidated looking at those big data, and we might feel like मैले एक्लैले गरेर त के हुन्छ त, that is our that is what our initial
exactly.
feeling might be like. But then maybe we should start taking just one small step, one day at a time, a small step towards environmental sustainability, and hopefully the world will become a cleaner, greener place and a healthier place for all of us to live. Thank you so much, Ayush Dai, for being a part of our episode. And just like Ayush Dai, through his wonderful ability to lead the team, has created a very supportive environment in his team, we at My Emotions Matter also help supervisors instill leadership qualities in them through our program called Coaching Conversations. So if you would like to subscribe to our program, please feel free to reach out to us through our email address. Until then, bye bye. Thank you, Ayush Dai, for coming to this episode.